Bennett Kessler filed this report with the tempting news that they could make $30,000 or $40,000 more for the town of Mammoth Lakes. Mono Supervisor Chairman Larry Johnston spoke to the Mammoth Town Council last week during public comment. Supervisor Johnston explained that if the town invested its money in the Mono investment pool, there would be a bigger return on investment. Now, currently, the town of Mammoth Lakes invests available funds in the local agency investment fund. Johnston said the interest rate is lower than the Mono investment pool, which he said holds around $60 million and is actively managed successfully as the 11th best in the state. He invited the town council to take a look. Johnston said the council might like to consider an agenda item to assign someone to sit on the Mono County Treasury Oversight Committee and get a look at investment options. Now, since the item was in public comment, the council remained non-committal. In other items before the Mammoth Town Council last week, California Highway Patrol Lieutenant Ron Cohen spoke to the council about the CHP in general and about some of his specific operations. He did say that in 2013, driving under the influence arrests dropped by 25%. He said enforcement contacts were down and that one of his challenges for 2014 is to increase contacts. Lieutenant Cohen said, quote, "We're missing the opportunities to catch DUIs," end quote. He said he would adjust schedules to try to get more officers on the road at night. Mammoth Councilman Matthew Lehman wanted to know if it would be a benefit to move the command post in Bridgeport to Mammoth Lakes, where there is much more traffic. Cohen said he had thought about it, but pointed out that with only 2 offices between Pearsonville and Topaz, it would not make sense to move the offices closer together. But this is not an immediate issue. The Bridgeport headquarters has remained on a list for replacement for 15 years. Mammoth Police Chief Dan Watson called Lieutenant Cohen a good partner who works closely with him on law enforcement matters. Also, previews of the Inyo and Mono County Boards of Supervisors meetings are also posted on our website, and again, that is sierrawave.net. And Bennett Kessler also filed this story. In certain zones in the town of Mammoth Lakes, overnight rentals are legal, but owners must pay the transient occupancy tax. Now, in the case of one property owner, the town finance staff said he had repeatedly rented his property on a nightly basis and failed to pay taxes owed. Last Wednesday night, John Hopp appealed the determination of taxes, penalties, and interest. Now, the whole amount added up to $54,281, according to Mammoth Finance Manager Cindy Myrold. She laid out the string of events that started with a warning letter in 2012 and continued with a series of citations and warnings and sporadic lack of response from Mr. Hopp. Myrold said Mr. Hopp continued nightly rentals as revealed in sting emails by the town inquiring about rental rates. The council gave Hopp a chance to offer his defense. He said that in the past, residents had opposed the tax. Hopp said, quote, "In essence, I'm saying the tax is illegal. I'm not a transient occupancy facility. It's ambiguous, so the benefit of the doubt goes to me," end quote. Now, Councilman Matthew Lehman said the town attorney investigated every angle and determined that the town's TOT assessment is legal. Lehman pointed to the evidence that Hopp's property was listed as a nightly rental on websites. Hopp claimed others pirated his information, but he did admit he had been renting nightly. Councilman John Eastman asked Hopp why he had failed to respond to a number of town notices. Hopp said, quote, "I'm very busy. I've been in Ecuador on business and have personal issues related to the mail," end quote. Eastman asked how he explained the fact that he was renting nightly in a single-family neighborhood. Hopp said he didn't feel the law was applicable. Councilman Lehman concluded that Hopp needed to be aware of the laws and that TOT is a large chunk of town revenue. He said the evidence presented made it, quote, "pretty clear this was a case of illegal rental," end quote. Now, Councilman Eastman said he was not sympathetic to the property owner, quote, "based on the mounds of evidence," end quote. Councilwoman Joe Bacon said she agreed. The only 3 council members present voted to uphold the town's determination and to direct the staff to require the property owner to pay the $54,281. Well, agents with the Inyo Narcotics Enforcement Team, that's INET, concluded a drug investigation in the Bishop area into the sales of methamphetamine, and the investigation resulted in 1 arrest and the seizure of what was called a large amount of drugs. According to a press release from INET, said that last Friday night, INET agents, along with the assistance of the Inyo County Sheriff's Department, conducted a search at a residence on Tusu Lane. Now, the search was part of an investigation into Dustin Anthony Smith, age 26, a resident of Bishop, for the sale and possession for sale of methamphetamine. The press release states that at the residence, INET agents seized approximately 1 pound of methamphetamine, which resulted in the arrest of Smith. Through investigation, INET agents, according to the press release, believe Smith was a mid-level dealer who received large amounts of methamphetamine, a pound or more per shipment, from a wholesale level supplier. In turn, that press release says Smith would then supply smaller quantities of methamphetamine to street-level dealers in Inyo and Mono counties for them to sell. Now, INET agents began the investigation into Smith when they received information he was involved in criminal drug activity. Smith was booked at the Inyo County Jail for possession of drug paraphernalia, possession of a controlled substance, possession of a controlled substance for sale, and felony child endangerment. And on Sunday morning, a California Highway Patrol officer assigned to the Mammoth Lakes resident post observed a Toyota FJ Cruiser traveling southbound on US 395 south of Landing Road at 85 miles an hour. Now, according to the press release from the California Highway Patrol, the officer conducted an enforcement stop and developed probable cause to search the vehicle. The search yielded MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy, which was confirmed by a field test. Also, concentrated cannabis, commonly known as hash, which was confirmed by a field test, controlled medication without a prescription, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. According to the press release, 2 passengers in the Toyota, Ryan Crabtree, age 23 of Lake Forest, and Sean Porter, age 21 of Tustin, were arrested for various drug violations and booked into the Mono County Jail in Bridgeport without incident. The driver was released with a citation for speeding. We'll be back with a weather report.